Howdy. It's another Saturday stream. Oh shit. No one saw this coming. Where's my visuals? There it is. It's all here. Straight into it. I got no patience for doing nothing. Especially when the scope of the project keeps expanding. I've been looking up all sorts of stuff today. Earlier today I was looking up how to judo throw people. Specifically for this fight sequence, by the way, not for outside use. I would get so owned if I tried to judo throw anybody. I learned all the forbidden techniques, because they actually have those, which sounds very anime, but it's real. You're not allowed to do stuff, and one of the things you're not allowed to do is called like some kind of scissor hold. Scissor lock? I don't know. It sounded very anime, and it all looked very anime. And I'm sure there is a sports anime out there about judo where it's like, oh, he's using the scissor hold, he's not supposed to do that. And he gets DQ'd. You know, it's very Karate Kid, I'm sure. This is all hypothetical. I don't know if it exists, but it just feels like something that would exist. This may sound like some weird bossa nova playlist I kicked on, but this is Xenoblade music, I swear. I just skipped 40 minutes into the playlist. I don't know what's going on with it. Got all these jazzy tunes in a row. Alright, so I have sketched out some more pages. I could finish the line art on the ones I've already done. Which might be a smart call. But I have been working on thumbnails for the rest of this chapter. I got a few more pages ironed out. It's very hard deciding on final compositions and paneling that doesn't look confusing, because as you know, clarity is the most important thing, above everything. If you have to sacrifice style to make something more clear, do it. That goes for the visuals and the dialogue. There's a good tip for people who write too much, which is to cut down the words you're using to describe, or like that you're using in a scene or sequence. Cut it in half, and then cut it in half again, if you can. If you are able to, because more often than not, you will be able to communicate the same idea in less words. And if you communicate the same idea in more words, we're not Shakespeare. Most of us. Literally one of us was. But no longer. So chances are you're not going to be able to communicate all these complex, poetic ideas and wax philosophical about them in a way that is poignant and it's even remotely clear. Even Shakespeare, his stuff is very obtuse for people who are not accustomed to his method of writing or his linguistic stylings of the time. Even at the time, I'm sure they were pretty complex, but at least the words were probably used more often. Nowadays, it's like you need notes in the margins just to understand what the heck he's even talking about. But beyond the linguistic time difference between, words being lost to time and language evolving, his ideas and monologues and soliloquies, they were very wordy. There was a lot of them. I'm stalling to decide which page I want to open. We could open this one. And also I want to get rid of this whole thing. Needs to go. I believe no. events. All of this needs to go. Actually, I'll just keep them hidden because I don't want to. I was changing the sequence of events for this page. Actually, this one can go entirely. But yeah, if you use too many words to describe an idea, you start to lose focus. Because it's very hard to keep focus when you're not really good at it. When you're not good at getting all wordy about stuff. There's that show, I forget what it is, something Midnight Gospel, I don't remember. Or is that Adult Swim show? There's that one show that got pretty popular, or rather infamous recently, for having characters just monologue at length at each other for like tens of minutes at a time. Maybe 10 minutes. Show where people monologue at each other. Let's see if that gets me anywhere. No, it's not Talking Heads. Show where religious people? Midnight Mass, that's the one. Found it. Not all of us can write like the people who did Midnight Mass and just go on at length about their ideas and such. So in the case of most dialogue, less is more. And even Midnight Mass, those monologues were very, of their scene. There weren't monologues all over the place. It was those monologues, and then the rest of the dialogue was pretty... We could pretty much adhere to these ideas in general. You gotta use words sparingly. Cut it in half again, if you can. See where that gets you. It'll probably result in a more focused and streamlined story for you. Or at least scene. I might need to readjust what I'm doing with these two pens. Let's try shifting this over here. Give me more room. if I get rid of this, put it here instead, move that over. And this can be the one where he's attacked here. I did not work out these two panels in particular, so that's why it's taken a bit longer to figure out what I want. get rid of it. Yeah, that was it. Center of balance was too straight for most of it. There we go. Okay, it's so hard to figure out posing when you haven't worked it out already. Alright, good. Thank the Lord. I figured something out. It only took 40 minutes. I actually expected to look over there and see an hour had passed, so not too bad. Not as bad as it could have been. Let's finish this page's line art, I think. Now that we're so far into it, we might as well. Alright, I can exit focus mode for a second. I was trying very hard. I was trying so hard. But now I can exit focus mode. Thank the Lord. I can ramble on about nothing. What's something I can ramble about? Oh yeah, I was listening to that medical history podcast again, Sawbones, for those interested. It's a very good one, very interesting. A lot of cool stuff they talk about there. A lot of not so cool stuff they talk about on there as well, like drinking cholera, diarrhea. That's a topic they talk about, but you know, it's informative. And it talks about how stupid we were in the past in terms of medicine. One thing they talked about is how evolutionarily we used to be more of like a 50-50 split for being left-handed, for left-handedness in general. But more recently, it is about, well, that was like in ancient times, but now like recently it's about like a 10% of the population is left-handed. And it's interesting to see, or to think about how that could have been like phased out as like an evolutionary thing. Societally, we did not do things to help with that, evening out that ratio that is. You know, the whole thing like left-handed people are the devil, or agents of the devil, that most certainly did not help. People would be trained against their natural inclination to use their left hand, to become sort of, you know, pseudo-right-handed, or at the very least ambidextrous. I can't draw this line. But all sorts of stuff we've been doing to left-handed people. In terms of the Salem witch trials, I believe the podcast mentioned that just being left-handed was grounds enough to warrant someone a witch, or to warrant trying them as one. And I say trying very generously. We did not really have trials. The Salem witch trials is more in the less in the judiciary sense and more in the trials and tribulations sense. More in the hardship kind of trial. That's really what it was. Like that trial, that quote-unquote test that they had, where if you were placed into, or like thrown into a river or something, and you lived, you were a witch, and if you drowned, you were a regular person. Like, oh, cool, very nice. Very cool test. It's a lose-lose, awesome, very good. Sorry, women, just in general, you know. Ancient weirdo dudes were very stupid. I can't do anything retroactively. I suppose, I don't know, what could I could, like... I don't even know what I could do. What could reparations even be for the Salem witch trials? There's people that identify as witches today. I guess you could, like... I don't know. Follow them on Instagram? What do they even do these days? I don't mean that in a disparaging way, but what are, like, witches doing nowadays? Like, real ones. Not even just, like, you know, Salem ones, which were just, like, normal people. I like how my first inclination was to jump towards reparations for witches and not just women in general. But, you know, it's like, it's the whole thing. It's the prestige, it's the concept of the whole event. The era. This, no, something akin to that. Maybe just the whole thing gray? Maybe just the whole thing gray. There's that new Glitch show. For those of you who don't know, Glitch is an independent 3D animation studio, and they've been making independently created shows for years by now. I never got into them. I always found their writing to be infuriating. Just bad, or like annoying. Uninspired. But they get a pass from the community at large for being an impressively active animation studio. And even I have to give that to them. In terms of the animation itself, it's pretty dang good for an independent studio. Most of the time, their most recent claim to fame, well, their most popular one, I think, in recent years, was Murder Drones? Murder Drones. I don't know why I said it so weird the first time. It's like, that series was, I couldn't get into it. The animation was nice, but the writing, it was like too self-aware. And it was like doing that whole thing where it's like it was calling out its own tropes in a meta-textual kind of way. But like being aware of using overdone tropes and cliches does not allow you to use them without criticism. And I feel like that show quickly forgot to do anything but just call itself out for like, this is the exposition era. Oh great, here's my character flaw. I'm sure this won't get me into trouble. It would literally be that on the nose sometimes. Just describing literary elements, and then just saying, oh, I guess this is how this is happening. It was like the most Joss Whedon kind of thing I could ever imagine. It was more Joss Whedon than Joss Whedon. Because Joss Whedon never wrote his superhero movies to go like, well, this is the part where I turn around and they're right behind me, which happens in all of these movies. It's like that level of fourth wall breaking. Joss Whedon at least had the wherewithal to keep his movie shenanigans within the world. His character's snarky quips never broke the fourth wall. At least too much, I don't think. Unless it was like Deadpool, in which case that is the point. But with the new Glitch show, they have it's directed or created by a creator called Gooseworks. And I think this Glitch show, I believe, what is it called? Something Circus? Digital Circus? Let me look it up. They have one pilot out. The Amazing Digital Circus. They have one pilot out. And for what it's worth, I think it is the least infuriating Glitch property that they've made. So, that's props, you know? I think it is their best thing that they have made so far. It's just the pilot, but it does do a little bit of that meta self-aware stuff as well, but it's not nearly to the degree that all their other properties have had so far. It feels like it's actually trying to be an immersive story, as opposed to just like some sort of satirical parody of storytelling in general. That being said, I don't think it's perfect. Digital Circus, the premise is pretty much your typical affair for what you might expect with stories like Cube, where it's a bunch of characters with various personalities trapped in a particular space. In this case, the Digital Circus. This is not a spoiler. This is established in the first, like, 20 seconds. And they can't get out. And they don't know how they got there. Because when you're in there, you start to forget who you are. It's like Neverland rules. So it's pretty interesting. You know, psychological horror, it can work. I don't think the pilot did a great job of really executing the horror aspect of it. And aside from it's weird because it tries to do that thing where it tries to blend horror and comedy, and sometimes that's like the most impossible thing to do. Doing like a dark comedy. I guess like a good example of that would be like Evil Dead, but even then, I feel like that always leaned more towards comedy and slasher than like straight up horror. So it'll be interesting to see if they try to get a better balance on their comedy, which I found to be a little lackluster. I feel like the comedy and the horror are sort of at odds with each other, as opposed to being some sort of synthesis with each other, so it leaves the whole project feeling unbalanced, to me personally. But the animation is great, the character designs are fun, I like them. They got, what's this fool's name? They got Michael Kovac voice acting again. He's been in all these YouTube independent creations recently. He does great. The entire, I will say, the voice acting was pretty good across the board. I don't think there was really a standout weak performance. So that's good. The independent voice acting scene on YouTube has always been pretty consistent. Like, those guys know what they're doing. They not be quote-unquote industry professionals most of the time, unless you're the rare outlier like ProZD or Alex Lay. Lee? I always forget that pronunciation of his last name. But they stand on their own regardless. That stems from the Newgrounds days. You got people like Oni. He always knew how to voice act. Well, maybe not always, but he definitely got pretty good at it. This hand is excruciating. But yeah, I would compare Glitch's earlier writing stylings to the more recent Borderlands games, where they just seem like hyper meme focused. But this one seems the most restrained in that respect, so I can appreciate it more. I can actually watch it without getting just upset within the first 5 minutes. And be like, how does anyone watch this who isn't over the age of 4? Which I think is a testament to Gooseworks being at the helm. I might have seen their works before. Let me see if I know. I just know that this is the name that they were touting as the head of the project. Oh, they did the Elaine Gets Adopted and all this other... Although, okay, yeah, I know who this person is. Yeah. This is all coming back to me. Another independent YouTube animator. Oh yeah, I didn't talk about it on this stream yet. Talked about it in other people's chat rooms, but not my own. Another development that has occurred is I have purchased colorblind lenses for my glasses and a new frame. So I guess I just bought colorblind glasses as a whole. They will be here in about 2 to 3 weeks, and they cost a lot of money. But it's going to be interesting. We had to drive like an hour and a half to get to this place around us. Just to try them out, because you can order them online, these Enchroma lenses, but I didn't want to, order them without knowing if there was actually a significant difference or not for me. because, you know, it'll vary from person to person, obviously. So we traveled an hour and a half. It's a 3-hour round trip. Yep, that's what that means. It was very rough being in a car for that long. Just to go try on some glasses for an appointment that lasted about maybe like 20 to 30 minutes, and you just drive back. But I did like they have two versions, these Enchroma lenses. They have the outdoor lenses for people who are crazy and go outside, ever, and people like me, normal, who stay indoors for 24 hours a day, or as long as we can manage to. The only time I go outside is to get from my house to my car to go to work. But I tried the indoor lenses on, and they looked pretty, you know, things look pretty interesting. I finally saw what real red looks like, and it's pretty cool. You know, it never looked different than the red I am familiar with. It just looked like a better version of the red that I'm familiar with, like a more saturated version of it. It looked like Red 2, the sequel to Red. Is I think how I put it before. So my Pro-Tan its days are numbered. I'm gonna have perfect vision pretty soon, and when I do, y'all better watch it. That's all I'm saying. I'm gonna be coloring stuff, and I'm gonna like know what it is. Now I will say it was weird because there was a bit of a learning process that came with seeing colors more accurately to how they've always been for people with normal eyes. I had to like see. I was asking my my mom who came with me, because, you know, it's an hour and a half just to go there. And she had like a doctor's appointment earlier, so she figured, you know what, I'll drive with you there. And I was like, oh, thank God, I'm not going to be alone for 3 hours. So she was there also, and I was asking her like things. Such as, what is this color now? And this, such as, well, that's like an orange, or almost a brown for these other lenses. We were looking at, I was basically just walking around the store, which was just an eyewear store, and just asking what color the lenses in certain frames were that they have on display. And I was relearning essentially what these new colors were, because they were the same colors but slightly different. In a week's time, with these new lenses, I'll probably be able to identify a chartreuse like nobody's problem. Identify a crimson from a vermilion, easy. Won't even be a challenge. Indigo from violet indigo. It'll be basically the easiest thing of all time. I won't be so confounded by the Olympic rings anymore. What are they even doing? What's going on there? The NBC logo? Basically any rainbow? You guys have no idea. Rainbows used to be so confusing. Not really. But for the bit, every time I looked at a rainbow, it drove me into madness. I had to look away immediately. It's like Lovecraftian. I can't comprehend it. I can't see the colors. Whoops, that's not it at all. Well, actually, what did these swords look like? There's a way I have this other picture. Let's check. It's just kind of like a taper. Well, it's actually, it might just be better to do it like so. How did I make a full? Yeah. Oh, Christ. Fixed. Did that folder even get there? I don't even know the hotkey to do that. How's you doing this Saturday afternoon? Hello, Mask. I'm doing alright. I'm doing well enough to stream on a Saturday, which is good enough for me. It's as good as any day. Arguably better than most Saturdays. How are you doing? I didn't miss this one. No, you did not. Did you get a notification, or did you just try to assume? And were rewarded for guessing. Either way, it's good with me. Good doing math homework? Oh boy. I would be doing much less than good if I was doing math homework. Assume? Okay, nice. I appreciate you checking in, though. Under that assumption. Because most of the time you'd be wrong to assume that I stream on a Saturday. But today you were rewarded for your anticipation. That I might just stealthily stream again. And I did. And I told nobody. And I don't notify on Twitter. And I don't got no Discord. Sorry about that spirit that escaped my vocal cords just then. Made that voice crack happen. Well, I'll try not to let it happen again. But they're wily, those vocal cord spirits. Let's try flipping this and see what we're looking at. Sneaky freaking goblin once again. I'm very sneaky. You can never quite pin me down. Unless I want you to. Looking at you, muscle mommies. don't. I'm gonna stop speaking for 5 seconds. We're gonna take a moment to recollect ourselves. And then we're gonna come back and pretend that we can have a normal conversation for like 5 minutes. Alright, the 5 seconds have passed. Alright, hello. My name's Zotan. How are you? Who are you? Nice to meet you. Let's start over. Clip it? No, don't clip things. I haven't clipped something from my own stream in a while. I usually only clip stuff when it's like when I think it's funny. Which happens very rarely. Sadly. I don't openly laugh at a lot of things. And that's a genetic thing, you know that? Laughter is in part influenced by your genetics, at least how much you laugh at any given thing, really. It's kind of messed up. So, like, I, for one, am a very soft, laughed kind of person. I don't really laugh at much. Nasal exhale most of the time. Maybe even an exhale through the mouth, and then, if you escalate it to, like, the funniest thing I've ever seen, I might laugh at it, which is sad, because I wish I was one of those people that just had one of those contagious laughs. Because I feel like you could go a long way in this world just by having a contagious laugh. People have built entire careers off of just having a contagious laugh. Most YouTubers. I said it so accented that time, and I don't know why. There's like 4 O's in that word. I have big laughs, they're pretty good. I wish I had one. I'm jealous of people that do have them. Because it seems just like it's just like inherently a charismatic thing too. It's like, because it's just like, it's evocative of emotion. And if you can laugh in a big way that makes other people laugh, even if the original thing isn't even funny, like, you can create a funny situation just by communicating that much joy, just like naturally. Meanwhile, I'm over here. You don't even know what I'm thinking. I'm an enigma. Did I even think it was funny? I don't know. You don't know either. Nobody knows. I have to say it. If I was, and saying something is funny is the key indicator to, in a lot of situations, that it was in fact not funny. So you have to work against that social standard as well. It's like, oh man, that was funny. It's like that, I don't know, sometimes people say that's funny when they don't think it's funny, just to like move the conversation along. I'm familiar with that premise a lot. Thinking about muscle mommies, I'm always thinking about those. If a muscle that's what a muscle mommy would do if I tried to tell a joke to them, to any single one of them. They would be like, "Oh, you're so funny," and then they would just ignore the rest of whatever I was saying. And you know what? More power to them. You know what? Actually, no more power. They don't need more power. They're muscle mommies. They don't need anything else. They're strong and independent enough. Put a cap on their power, in fact. There needs to be a limit with how far science can go. If we get another person in here, just because I want to say this when as many people are around as possible, then I'll go into some big webtoon drama that's been circulating. It's very interesting. It's not racism, which is already something that I feel I shouldn't have to qualify. But no, this webtoon drama is not racism. It's something else. Something very insidious nonetheless, though. Particularly within the art community. We had a juicy one recently, amidst the subreddit that I frequent. Oh boy. I'm just gonna tease it though. Yeah, the tea. There's a lot of tea in the webtoon community recently, yet again. And this one is it's interesting. If we get another person, I'll start talking about it, but... Well, you know, I'll see if we get another person is what I should say. If we don't get another person, I'll talk about it anyway, but, you know, I'll wait a little bit to see if somebody shows up. Because I think it's fun to talk about drama with more than just myself. So, you coming along. I probably wouldn't even have mentioned it if you didn't show up. I would have waited until somebody showed up. So, you know what? I think I'll wait until maybe another person shows up. Or not. I'll determine at runtime whether or not. But, just know, it's pretty great what we're dealing with in the old art community at any given moment. If it's not racism, it's something else, apparently. Is the music good? Okay, yeah, my headphones were just low. Oh yeah, I hate this one. I remember now. Oh. There we go. What else happened recently? Oh yeah, Hazbin Hotel released a full song from the show. It's launching the first season on Amazon Prime Video in January. I will be watching it. I think the song was good. I don't know if the show will be good. Here's the thing about YouTube independent creations. The weakest link, most of the time, so far, in my personal experience and opinion, is the writing. And I don't much care for Hell of a Boss, VivziePop's team's most prolific, most popular series to date. The one that they used to hold them over until Hazbin Hotel finally launched, I'm assuming. And one of my biggest gripes with the show, not really one of my biggest, but one of the more easily explained gripes that I had with most of VivziePop and her team's creations is that they just throw in swears like they're in the 5th grade and they just found out about them. I'm not against cursing in media, far from it. There's going to be curses in this comic, for sure. People say them, and contextually it can add impact to a scene or a line of dialogue or anything. But when you're just throwing them out there, it's like, oh my god, I get it. The characters can say the frick word. They say it a lot. Very cool. They just say it in situations where it wouldn't even be applicable either. In like a natural setting. It's like multiple times a sentence it'll happen. Like, who drops multiple F-bombs in one sentence unless they're doing it on purpose? To sound weird. Or to make fun of the frequency at which they already swear. But that aside, I hope that the writing is good. I think the pilot was already probably the strongest, one of the stronger YouTube pilots that we've seen in a long time. That said, I haven't seen Lackadaisy, and I know that like immediately after the Lackadaisy pilot released, didn't they get funded for like a season 1 on some platform? Lackadaisy season 1. What is this going on? Was this a Kickstarter thing? Crowdfunding campaign. Okay, yeah. So they literally just got they got crowdfunded for a full season, literally right after the pilot came out. So that's cool. I haven't seen that one, but it's pretty good sign that they released the pilot and they got crowdfunded for a season 1 almost immediately. So I haven't seen Lackadaisy. That could be one of the best YouTube pilots to date. I haven't seen it. I probably should watch that one. Michael Kovac voice acts in this one too. I knew he's going everywhere. Wasn't Hazbin Hotel pilot released years ago? Yes. They did that, and then I assume they were going through networks pretty much immediately from that point, because it takes so long to get picked up anywhere these days, especially as an independent. And they've been doing Hell of a Boss ever since. I'm assuming to hold them over and keep the studio's lights on while they were doing stuff in the background. And now Hazbin Hotel is finally releasing on Amazon Video next year. I am cautiously optimistic. We'll see what happens. A lot of independent animation stuff happening these days, and not in the way that it used to happen. The way of the YouTube animator is definitely it's weird how closely it resembles the I gotta look up this song name again. I love it every time it shows up. It's distracting me from talking. 2 hours and 5 minutes. Agnes Castle. That's a great song, dude. I'm gonna put that in the tab. What was I even saying? I forgot entirely because the heavenly choir was singing directly into my ear. Oh yeah, the YouTube animation scene is very different these days. It's now, weirdly enough, embracing a more traditional studio setting than it used to. Which is like the exact opposite of what you would envision for independent creators. But that's what's happening. We have learned that to survive as animators on the internet, you have to be in a group with other animators. Otherwise, you're just not going to be able to output what you need fast enough. So, these animator coalitions and studios are cropping up all over the place. I was talking about Glitch earlier this stream and their new endeavors. With the amazing Digital Circus. That pilot just launched. Pretty dang well received. It has more views on its pilot in like a day than some TV series get over their entire season. It's pretty good. Alright, now I gotta draw the wife of the guy. Hello, Mr. Eth. Hello, Countess. Fancy seeing you here. How are you doing on this fine afternoon? I had to check what it was. My schedule is all messed up. I'm doing what I always do. Not usually on Saturdays, mind you. But I'm working on my webcomic. In case that wasn't very clear. I'm doing great. I made cinnamon rolls last night and just baked them. It's a good day. That is a good day. Damn, I wish I had those freaking... My parents, they bought like an apple cake and they brought it home yesterday. But then they went camping over the weekend, so I'm here and they took the apple cake. So how was you? Well, I'm pissed off. Specifically because of the apple cake thing. But other than that, I'm doing alright. They should have, like, left me, like, a piece of it. Is all I'm saying. Is that too much to ask? That's so sad. I know, it's it was on the table. In its little container, and then one day it was gone. And by one day, I mean yesterday. Immediately. It was a quick turnaround time. I didn't even know what I had until I lost it. One moment. I should just mute it. If I forget I have a mute key that I can just use and do that. So I just run away from my microphone for a second. Do you know of a quick way to kill Dodo Gammas? I mean, they're pretty killable as it stands. And I don't know, they're pretty, I never found them, like, tricky to kill. I imagine that the fastest way would be investigation quests with multiples of them. Maybe, maybe there's a speed run for annihilating Dodo Gammas? I don't know. I haven't looked into that specific. They're easy, just time-consuming? Yeah, well, I guess that would be then... You would probably be looking for an effective weapon to kill them faster, and I guess heavy bowgun might be the way, because he doesn't move around a whole lot. So you could kind of just strap in and kunk, gun, 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 just freaking blow him away. Throw a cluster bomb at him. That'd probably go pretty well. Or I think actually one of the highest DPS weapons for stationary monsters is dual blades with their elemental weakness. Granted, you do have to have an elemental set. Some artillery armor? Yeah, that'll help for sure if you're going like the Hame strat. But also, why... Hold on, why are you killing Dodo Gammas? I need to ask, why are you killing the best lizard in the game? What's wrong with you? I didn't even think to ask. It just processed what you've said to me. If Stove were here, he'd be very upset. God rest his soul. He's not dead. I just think it's funny to say that sometimes, when people haven't shown up in a while. Am I using the Kadachi Soul? What is that one? You're gonna have to forgive me, it's been a while. And also, at the endgame of Monster Hunter World, the only gear that you are aware of is Fatalis gear, so I don't know what Kadachi Soul is. Kadachi told to Charge Blade from Toby Kadachi. Oh, I see. Yeah, if you're looking to kill Dodogama faster, I think Charge Blade is a mid-tier weapon in World and Iceborne, just in terms of what it can do, so that might be one of your problems. Just, you know, literally getting tier capped. Need the artillery skill? Yeah, that'll help. For sure. Does Dodogama have artillery? Is that why you're murdering him? Is that what I'm gathering here? The Masterclass Dodo... Oh, okay, yeah, it's all coming together now. You're murdering them. Granted, for a purpose, but murdering them nonetheless. I mean, it's fine. Weapon tier list. MH Iceborne. Let's take a look. What do people think? In terms of DPS, it's typically heavy bowgun that comes out way ahead. So yeah, it looks like if you wanna just like mow them down, it would be... The meta has always been usually heavy bowgun. Very broken. And then the secondary one is elemental bow, but that requires a bit more setup. The first melee weapon for this is a greatsword, apparently. For speed running. Which is as good as the sword and shield, which is as good as the light bowgun. Good heavy bowgun, that's what it looks like, based on what people are coming to tell me. Coming together to say. I use the bow sometimes. Bow's fun. I never really got into it, but when I was using it, it was pretty fun. Sometimes I don't have a controller I can play on mouse. Oh yeah, that's true. Shooting in Monster Hunter games has never been easier, specifically because of mouse and keyboard. You should have tried to play Monster Hunter on the DS. Back when you had to... Here's what it was. You had a screen, you had your top screen. You might have even been familiar with this, but like... And then you had your touch screen. And if you didn't have the one with like the little bonus analog stick on the 3DS... I didn't have that for years, so their solution for it was to put a D-pad on the touch screen. Because the real one's over here, which is useless next to the analog stick. And you would have to use the stylus or your finger to move the camera while moving around and doing combos. It was rough. Playing on the DS is very... I did it for years and I would not like it. I hate the digital pad, it's so stupid. I got used to it, but I still hate it. Nowadays, everything has 2 analog sticks, though. You know, you go on the Switch, you got your Monster Hunter Generations, it's great. Got 2 analog sticks. Welcome to the future. Nintendo Switch 2, it's coming with 3. Calling it now. Gonna be able to move it with your chin while you're playing games. Like a Zoro. Alright, let's flip one more time, because I think the line art's pretty good. Feels so clunky with the digital pad? Yeah, absolutely. It was a band-aid solution to a technological issue that they could not solve. I'm impressed that they got it to work at all. That being said, they could have tried a little better. Alright, let's draw the lady, because she's in this panel too. Low tier monsters would be getting cooked if I had the add-on, yeah. Looking for where to buy one. You could also, well, yeah, the add-on would be the cheaper option. I think at some point I did just cave in and I got like a new 2DS XL, the one with the little ding-a-ling on it. A little nubbin. The dongle, if you will. I haven't played on my DS in so long, though. So I probably wouldn't even... I'd probably just go back to using the digital pad just out of habit. Right now I don't have the funds. How much does the add-on cost? The Circle Pad Pro? Oh my god. Why? It's $60? Why is it a full video game? Some people are selling it for like 100. That's eBay though. Those people are always gonna scalp stuff. Yeah, yikes. I feel sympathy for for you right now at the moment. I didn't realize they were like so expensive these days. There's got to be a better place to get them. I'm sure you've researched it far and wide by this point though. Way more than I can do in my cursory glance. Also just emulate the 3DS on my computer, that's true. And they have HD texture packs for stuff like Monster Hunter 4. If you were to emulate it, wink, and use a controller, true. That's the plus side. Just mapping stuff to whatever you need. Accessibility. Let's move her here, maybe? Where does she belong in this panel? Maybe we'll just finish this panel's liner first. I'm kind of scattered right now. Kind of going with the flow, and the flow is weird and inconsistent, but I'm going with it. to erase some of this beard, I think. I also draw the knuckle too low on the outside of the hand. That's something I also noticed. In addition to my small foreheads and long necks with 2 C's. Buzzard is really calling me to stop doing math homework. It will do that to you. You can't let it win, or else you will just never do anything you're supposed to. Get this beard out of my man's hands. Okay, I just can't believe you're playing more than one video game at a time, Mask. In my life, at this current juncture, what is a juncture? Surely that's a word. Not the one I'm looking for, though. At this junction in my life, I can't even play one video game consistently. Let alone more than one. I don't even know how to do that anymore. You know what you need to do, Mask? You need to make a webcomic so I can stop feeling like I'm missing out on other stuff. Then you'll have no free time. And then you will know, I'll have somebody who understands my pain of trying to do a project daily. This needs to happen. It's like Monster Hunter seems more like an arcade type thing. I think you would probably, if you perceive it that way, you might like Monster Hunter now. So I can play it alongside a story type game. Oh, I see. Yeah, true. It's like when I used to play video games, which is a sad thing that I get to say now. Having a weirdo schedule. But I would I would have the same mentality for fighting games, like they would just be my drop-in arcade game. And then I would play, I don't know, something alongside it, like Nier. So I understand this mindset. Should this foot be different? I think it should. I think we got the general shape down, but I gotta fix the rest of it. I was going full shrimp. Okay, I fixed myself. Maybe it needs to be more horizontal. I know I just did that, but maybe even more? That might be. Yeah, really extend that foot tendon, whatever this one is on the top. Do we even have tendons there? And we got bones there. They look like this. They're really long. And then they connect into the toes. I'll have to add all the speed lines in here later. Oh, I did do a more detailed pass over this one. Nice. Okay, then we can just lower that opacity down, hide this one, and do that. Let me hear this one already. I've heard this instrument today. Oh, my timer did stop. Look at that. I love when this happens. Thank you so much. I bet my viewer thing also glitched out? It's actually been almost 2 hours. That makes so much more sense now. Oh, Christ. Stop pressing the Windows key. Oy, oy. I'm gonna unmap the Windows key. I swear to God, one of these days. I'm gonna take such drastic measures as to unmap a key on my keyboard. Where's this pose I had here? Okay, let me look at that. What are they doing with their hand? No, I actually don't like that line. What about this one? That's better, I think. Therefore it be. No, that's too high. Oh yeah, I gotta draw his sheath a little bit more clearly, because I'm gonna have to do that there at some point. gonna have to put that in these other panels too, now that I mention it. It's a character design element I had almost completely forgotten about. I gotta draw the dang sword in here too. Did I draw that? I didn't. I didn't even draw the sword yet. Shh, be quiet. No swearing. At least not. I don't know why, it's always that one. Other swears are fine, but as soon as the S word comes out, I think it's just an impulse that I have to censor it from myself. I don't know why. Choir is always so weird. Only this particular brand of choir. For some reason, I like the female choir, or the conventionally female choir. Traditional, whatever word you want to use there. And the traditionally masculine, very deep choir. But this weird middle ground here, I don't know what you would call this. It's not a soprano, so I don't freaking know what it is. I'm not a music. I'm also not a eunuch, so I have no idea. Which is a tradition they would use to keep their voices high, right? It's irrelevant to the discussion. But this was... Falsetto's the really high one, so maybe this is like a tenor, soprano. I don't know what words mean in the music realm, which is unfortunate because I do play an instrument. You'd think I would know this by now. Something about this middle range for choir is just... It weirds me out. I don't know what. Either extreme end of the spectrum, that's great. Give me the high notes, give me the low notes. Fantastic. But for some reason, I don't know what it is. Play an instrument? I do. I play the guitar every now and then. I would say I still take lessons for it, but I don't really. What I do is I get together with who used to be my instructor, and we just kind of play music once a week. It's just a thing we do now. It's pretty fun. Luckily, my nighttime job has not completely ruined my ability to do that. It's kind of why I need Wednesdays off. That's the reason I do Wednesdays off mainly. It was for personal stuff, and that was one of them. I didn't want to give up doing that, because I pay for those sessions that we do, because they are still instructional for the most part. just not as structured as our lessons would have been. Way back when I was like figuring out guitar. As a 9-year-old, as you can imagine. I've been playing with this dude for that long, by the way. The first and only teacher I've ever had for the guitar. So he's pretty cool. I know there are some streamers who have it set up so that they can play their guitar basically into their computer and have the sounds be generated into the computer. I don't have that set up. That seems like it'd take a lot of time and energy to figure out how to do that. So unfortunately, no guitar streams. Maybe ever. Unless I play it into my microphone. Which I will not be doing because that is ridiculous on many levels. It would just sound bad for one. It would sound like I'm playing into a tin can, I'm pretty sure. 2, that would mean I have to memorize like a set of stuff. Like a set list of songs to do. I don't want to do that. It takes a long time to do that. What do I look like? A guy who tours? I barely leave my house. When given the choice between the indoor and outdoor colorblind lenses, I picked the indoor one specifically because it's where I spend 99.9% of my time. And I say that, but I have this, like, area of sun exposure on my arm. It's like a dark freckled thing, which I think happened because of sun exposure. But I don't even know how. Because I like, never leave the house. I might need, like, a dermatologist on this, because it's like, I barely go outside, but this is like it's like a dark patch. Like, if you took a picture of this one spot of my arm, you would think I was a different race entirely. But then around it, very pale. As pale as I normally am. I don't think it's cancerous, because if it was, I probably would have noticed by now. Probably would have had some other symptoms, let's be real. But skin spots are always weird. Isn't there a thing called sunspots? Maybe that's just what it is. Let me look that up. It looks like the consensus is it could just be a sunspot, which is harmless, so yeah. They don't disappear because the skin has been permanently damaged by the sun? Well, that's rude. Why was it doing that? I thought we was cool, sunlight. I need vitamin D. You really don't need anything from me at all. But we named you. We gave you a cool name. The sun. That's powerful. We deified you, Helios. Pretty sick. I just think it's rude that the sun decided to do that to me. Permanently damage my skin. Alright, what time is it? I might have to end stream early, which unfortunately means I will not be discussing the tea today. But you know what? There's always Monday or whatever. Yeah, it's like about that time anyway. I don't know how much I did today. I did this a little bit. No, I don't know, man. To get into the tea, it's like a long discussion. There's like a lot of moving parts. So to get into it now, towards the end of stream, I don't know if I can do it. I'm very tired. But I will talk about it at some point. It's not gonna go anywhere, this tea. It's already happened, so it's like... I'm not breaking any news, I'm just going over what has happened recently. But yeah, I'll talk about it at some point. It's a very fun thing to talk about, though. I will say that. What did I even draw today? I don't even know. I gotta redo this line before I get off. Though, or else it will bug me forever. Let me just fix this, and then I will leave Twitch forever. Yeah, there we go. Oh yeah, I also did the thumbnails for these. That's what I was spending so much time on. Okay, I remember now. I'll spend tomorrow doing a bunch of whatever. I don't know if I'll stream tomorrow. Who knows? It's not out of the question. It's usually a Saturday stream, though. Never a Sunday stream. That day's for God. I go to church on that day. No, I don't. Just make that clear. Never been to church. Never, ever. Not out of, like, intolerance or hatred for the men of the cloth. I just don't go there. If I was going to go to church, I would want to go to those ones where they make a day of it. They make, like, a whole thing. They got, like, people getting up. They're dancing. They're singing. They're doing the whole thing. They got instruments. They got a band. They got a church band. That's how you know you're in a good one. You don't want to be in one of those boring sermon churches. Hate them. Lame. Boring. Well, that's it for me today. Thank you, Mask, for stopping by. Thank you, Cantith, for stopping by earlier. I notice in my Streamlabs that is a first-time chatter in this neck of the woods. So it's always good to see people stop by. And I'll catch you later. Monday, probably. Bye.